TYT Sports, everybody. Ben Mankiewicz, Francis Maxwell. Big weekend of 4th of July, the World Cup quarters to the semis.
Yeah.
Big games. Time for our Turk and Jerk of the week. Who do you have?
So for the jerk of the weekend, basically, I know a lot of people disagree, but just for my bracket, Zuniga, who just basically broke Neymar's back. The tackle didn't look as deliberate as people were making it out to be, but in the game, he was definitely leaving his studs in a couple of tackles, but the knee was very high and right in Neymar's back. It was just reckless for me, and my bracket is now gone to shit. Thank you a lot, Zuniga.
That seems unnecessarily hostile, because it seemed to me to be just a freak. I mean, he didn't seem
I don't know, man. He was very high with his knee, and Neymar's very thin.
What do we think caused the injury, though? The knee to the back or the fall?
No, the knee to the back.
Really?
Absolutely, the impact of that. I mean, Zuniga's a stocky guy. He's got some power behind him. Neymar's not as big, kind of thin-framed, and it looked very harsh on him. But
well, it's obviously a loss for all of us that obviously the presumption is that he'll be okay, but that we don't get to see him.
Exactly, we don't get to see him in the final. So that's why, I mean, a little harsh.
And with Silva's loss, too, a huge disadvantage for Brazil not to have such key guys.
But the Turk, as I've constantly spoke about through all of this competition, I'm a big fan of coaching decisions. So Louis van Gaal, you get the Turk of the weekend for just being either enormously crazy or a tactical genius by changing your goalkeeper with 10 seconds left to go into penalty kicks, and what a change it was. Mind games.
He made the change because you can't do it just for penalty kicks.
You have to do it in the game. So he waited until the last possible moment, brought on Krul, and it was very cruel on Costa Rica.
And then he was trash talking. So for me, that was a pretty easy call, Louis van Gaal, for the Turk of the week, because when that works out at that big a moment, that ballsy decision. I mean, for crying out loud, the starting goalkeeper goes 119 shutout minutes.
Exactly.
Right? Not like Costa Rica was peppering the net with shots, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the quarters of the World Cup, for crying out loud. This is the guy who got you. But obviously, this is a guy who knows how to defend penalty kicks.
You've got to have the guts to make a decision like that, because he could have. Imagine they lost that penalty shootout. It could have been huge. Yeah, but he's obviously knows his stuff.
He does, and it worked. And so that's a good call for Turk of the week. For Jerk of the week, you got to take a look at these pictures, because I don't want to single anyone out necessarily, but. The White Sox marketing department has made a terrible error in judgment. So I guess they had a white poncho giveaway over the weekend. And John Danks was on the bump against the Angels. And this is what it looks like. It was actually, we're cheating a little bit because it was Wednesday. But because of the 4th of July holiday, we didn't get a show in time. So
I mean, any sort of act that involves this, it doesn't matter whether it's Monday, it's still going to be Jerk. I
mean, of course, look, so they're called the White Sox. It makes sense that you would give white ponchos, and I'm sure the thought was, we've always given away black ponchos, right? Let's break it up. Let's give a nice summer white poncho. And then it rained. And then it rained, and everyone put on the ponchos, and it was a catastrophe. Obviously, completely accidental. Therefore, that's why it's funny. And I suspect that, of course, will never. They've taught every team a lesson. No team will ever give out white ponchos again in the history of sport. That was for you, if they're paying attention to the White Sox. That's the Turk and Jerk of the week.